Humanity is losing something quietly, slowly, and almost invisibly, not money, not resources, but something far more precious, critical knowledge, the skills that once defined us. Before writing existed, humans were the libraries. Entire cultures survived because people memorized stories, laws, histories, and genealogies. A single elder could carry the knowledge of an entire tribe. Then, writing arrived, a miracle, but also the beginning of our dependence on external memory. Plato himself warned that writing would weaken our ability to remember, and he was right. Once we could store knowledge on clay tablets, we stopped storing it in our minds. Fast forward thousands of years, the invention of the calculator changed everything. A tool designed to help us slowly replaced our ability to do mental math. Today, many people struggle to calculate even simple percentages without reaching for their phone. Then came GPS. Humans once navigated oceans using stars. Today, many of us cannot reach a destination 10 minutes away without Google Maps. Our internal sense of direction, once a survival skill, is fading. Pilots today are highly trained professionals, but autopilot systems now handle most of the flight. Studies show that manual flying skills degrade when pilots rely too heavily on automation. In rare emergencies, this loss of skill can be catastrophic. Even surgeons, the most skilled professionals, now rely on AI tools for diagnosis, planning, and precision. These tools save lives, but they also raise a question. If the machine becomes the expert, what happens to the human expert? And now, AI tools like ChatGPT and Copilot are becoming our thinking partners. We ask them to write, to plan, to analyze, to solve. Convenient? Absolutely. But every time we outsource thinking, we weaken the muscles of our own mind. If this continues, future generations may inherit a world where people cannot calculate without a device, pilots cannot fly without automation, surgeons cannot operate without AI, students cannot think without prompts, and societies cannot function without machines. History has already shown us what happens when societies lose critical knowledge. This is not a theory, it has happened before, and the results were catastrophic. When Rome collapsed, Europe lost engineering knowledge that had taken centuries to build. Aqueducts broke, roads decayed, cities shrank. For nearly 1,000 years, humanity forgot how to build things it once mastered. When the Library of Alexandria was destroyed, humanity lost irreplaceable scientific, mathematical, and medical knowledge. Entire fields had to be rediscovered centuries later. A single event set human progress back by generations. In 2003, a software glitch caused a massive blackout across the United States. In Canada, 50 million people were left without power. Airports shut down, water systems failed, hospitals struggled, all because a single automated system malfunctioned, and humans no longer knew how to manually override it. In aviation, over-reliance on automated systems has already cost lives. The Boeing 737 MAX crashes happened partly because pilots were not trained to manually counter the automated MCAS system. When automation fails and humans cannot step in, tragedy follows. Today, less than 2% of the population grows food. If global supply chains fail, even briefly, most cities would run out of food in days. We have outsourced the most basic survival skill humanity ever had. Now imagine a future where no one remembers how to fly a plane manually. No one can diagnose without AI, no one can code without Copilot, no one can navigate without GPS, no one can think without prompts, and then the system fails. A glitch, a cyber attack, a solar flare, a global outage. Suddenly, billions of people are left helpless because the knowledge once stored in human minds now lives only in machines. But what does this future actually look like? Let us imagine three scenarios, three moments where human over-reliance on AI leads to catastrophe. These are not science fiction. They are logical conclusions of the path we are already walking. Scenario 1. The hospital that forgot how to heal. It is the year 2041. Hospitals around the world have fully integrated AI diagnostic systems. Doctors no longer read X-rays manually. They no longer memorize drug interactions. They no longer perform physical examinations the way their predecessors did. The AI does it all faster and more accurately than any human ever could. Then, One morning, a coordinated cyber attack takes down the global medical AI network. Every hospital, clinic, and emergency room goes dark simultaneously. The systems are offline, and the doctors stare at their screens. Because the generation trained to rely on AI never learned the old skills. They cannot read an X-ray, they cannot calculate a drug dosage by hand, they cannot diagnose a patient without the algorithm. In the first 24 hours, thousands of patients in critical condition receive delayed or incorrect treatment. Surgical procedures are postponed. Emergency rooms turn people away, not because there are no doctors, but because the doctors no longer know how to be doctors without the machine. This is not a failure of technology, it is a failure of human preparedness. Scenario 2: The power grid that no one could fix. It is 2038. The world's electrical grids are managed entirely by AI systems. Human operators exist, but they are there mostly to watch dashboards. The actual control, the balancing of loads, the rerouting of power, the detection of faults is all handled by interconnected AI networks. A massive solar storm strikes Earth. It sends a surge of electromagnetic energy that corrupts the AI systems managing the North American power grid. The backup systems fail, the AI cannot recover itself. The engineers on duty know how to interact with the AI, but they do not know how to operate the grid manually. That knowledge was deprecated years ago. The training programs were cut, the manuals were digitized and then lost when the servers went down. For 11 days, 300 million people have no electricity, no heat in winter, no refrigeration for food or medicine, no water pumping systems, no communication, not because the grid was physically destroyed, but because the humans who were supposed to be the backup had forgotten how to be the backup. Scenario 3: The autonomous military crisis. It is 2045. Most of the world's major military powers have deployed autonomous weapons systems. AI-controlled drones, missile defense networks, and battlefield decision engines operate at machine speed, far faster than any human commander could react. A software conflict between two nations' autonomous systems triggers a series of automated responses. Neither side intended to escalate. No human pressed a button. But the machines, following their programmed logic, begin exchanging strikes. The human commanders try to intervene, but the override protocols are buried in systems they barely understand. By the time humans regain control, 3 border installations have been destroyed, and hundreds of soldiers are dead. An international crisis unfolds, and the terrifying truth becomes clear. The humans who built these systems were so confident in the AI that they never seriously planned for the moment the AI needed to be stopped. 3 scenarios, 3 warnings, 3 reminders that when we outsource critical skills and critical decisions to machines, we must never forget how to do them ourselves. But this story does not have to end in decline. Tools should empower us, not replace us. We must use technology wisely, not as a crutch, but as a partner, because the moment we stop practicing a skill, we start losing it. If you found this video useful, hit the like button and remember to subscribe. This is 0 Day Diaries from Hacks and Heroes.